How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and today we're doing some collection updating, this time of the punk variety, mostly pop punk. So if that's not your thing, I don't blame you. We got a little bit more heavier stuff and a little bit more obscure stuff coming in the next couple of CD collection updates. But stick around for the second band in this collection update because I want them to at least get some attention because they're not like the rest of these bands. They're heavier, they're more DIY, underground, and they're kind of not really around anymore, and I wish they were. Really good. Probably my favorite release on this entire list. So at least stick around to band number 2. The first one we're going to talk about, though, also kind of deserves some hype about it because it is a Canadian punk band, punk, pop punk, whatever, from like the earlier days for me when I was first getting into punk. This is Gob with their first album from 1995 called Too Late, No Friends. This album is the one that has the I want to jump in a lake, sunshine down in the summer, I want to jump in a lake. That song, yeah, Soda. Soda's on this. Really good song. Again, Canadian, so gotta support some local Canadian stuff. They got more famous later on for their The World According to Gob album, which had I Hear You Calling on it, I think. So yeah, if you liked that, you might like their earlier stuff. Check out their first album here. They're from British Columbia, so the entire opposite end of Canada than me because I'm in Ontario. There's the inside here. Had to flip that shit around, and the irony because it's a toilet. Here's the back of the tray. Not quite sure what that is. Some guy with a spacesuit helmet on, I guess. Probably one of the band members. Kind of amusing. So yeah, you could tell they kind of have a bit of a sense of humor, which I guess is pretty good to have when you're in a punk band, especially pop punk, which I don't know if back in the day when they were doing it was too popular. I know the 89, 90 was probably a good time to start getting into pop punk, and it branched away from all the hardcore stuff. But as you got closer to the 2000s, if you're not Green Day or Blink-182, pop punk probably wasn't going to get you anywhere. So yeah, first album by Gob, excellent Canadian pop punk band, punk rock band, depending on the track. I enjoy it. I don't really consider it too poppy pop punk, if you know what I mean. There's some bands that really push the envelope in the poppy direction and I'm kind of like, ugh, about. But this one, pretty good. It's closer to punk rock than it is pop punk for the most part. And again, they got a sense of humor because one track on here is called Asshole TV. Another one's called Fido Dildo Censor Shit. Yeah, there's some interesting song titles in here. So maybe if you're into punk, the lighter stuff, you might want to check out Canada's Gob first album there. Alright, moving on to the band that I really want you guys to check out, though, if you're into punk whatsoever, if you're into kind of like the crusty, not crust punk, but like the heavier, faster, angrier punk, this Canadian punk band is so worth it. Go find yourself a copy on Discogs for $9 or $10 plus shipping. This is Action with their self-titled album, Action. They started in, I believe, 2002. These guys are kind of hard to kind of zero in on and find all the information about. They don't have any albums after this, but they were working on a sophomore album and then something happened and they broke up and they were no longer together. This was released in 2004 on Punkcore Records, and this is kind of why I call certain bands punkcore bands, because this certain sub-genre of punk, it's like punk, street punk, and this is kind of like a subgenre of street punk called punkcore. Not just because of the punkcore punk label, but because it has that more aggressive, angrier, faster, almost getting towards like thrash levels and edging up to metal heaviness sometimes. That's why I call these bands punkcore, not just because of the label they're on, but this sound, to me, is punkcore. If you understand that and you're into punk, you probably will agree with me. But yes, Action from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So like a half an hour drive from me. Would have been awesome to see these guys back in the day or get like some merch from. I hope one of the band members do some other project or in another project. If you know about this band and you know any of the members have a different project or any of the members do like have other albums out there, please, please, please let me know. I really enjoy these guys and I wish they did more. Rest in peace, Action. Fantastic band and hilarious artwork, considering I just said rest in peace, but that wasn't on purpose. Anyway, Action from 2004, Punkcore Records, amazing street punk band. Check them out if you can. They're kind of hard to find, so you might have to type in Action 2004 Canadian punk. Otherwise, you'll get a band called The Action, and there's a couple bands called The Action that isn't this. There's one from like 90 or from 77 or something that's also Canadian. So it's a little hard to pick out. If I can remember to put a link in the description box for their Discogs, I will try to do that. But if not, mention it in the comments and I'll give you the link, because so worth checking out. Really, really good stuff. Check out Action from 2004. Now you can probably turn it off if you want, because the next are straight up pop punk, except for the earlier works. This one is a piece for me that I really, really enjoy, though. This is AFI with their All Hallows EP. This got so many listens to back in the day. I had a copy, and then I sold all my AFI to Deja Vu discs because I was just, I guess, over a bunch of punk. For some reason, I got into slam and black metal. And I'm like, adios, pop punk. Good riddance. You no longer have any relevance in my life. But after years and years of listening to slam and black metal and like crazy heavy stuff and kind of maturing in my taste, I can appreciate both now. So here we go. Finally got a copy of AFI's All Hallows EP again. Fall Children, Halloween, The Boy That Destroyed the World, Totally Immortal, all amazing songs. I believe one of those songs is a Misfits cover. I think Halloween might be a Misfits cover. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, really, really good music. And this was kind of like the start of their more dark, emo, pop punk stuff that they got into later, like Sing the Sorrow, The Art of Drowning, Black Sails in the Sunset, December Underground? Yeah, December Underground. So it started leaning that way with this one. It came out in 1999. Horror/emo punk band. It started in 1991, but they released 3 albums. They were more hardcore punk, like Answer That and Stay Fashionable, Good on Ya, and Shut Your Mouth and Open Your Eyes. Those 3 albums are awesome. Shut Your Mouth and Open Your Eyes is probably the best and hardest of the AFI stuff. So if you're looking for the really more angsty, super punky, hardcore-ish type of stuff, check out Shut Your Mouth and Open Your Eyes. Best album hands down in the kind of earlier genre. I like the first 2 albums quite a bit, but they're peak AFI at that. And then they start going dark emo. What do you even call that? Like dark gothic emo? I don't know. And pop punk mixed together. And then they started doing shit like Crash Love and Blood. Burials was okay, I think. I'm gonna have to check that out, but it's gonna be a while before I get a copy of Crash Love and Burials and Blood. That's for sure. Yeah, I just checked. I don't have a copy of Crash Love yet. It's gonna be a while. So yeah, this is a great turning point though for AFI. I really, really enjoyed this. Excellent. Check it out. I even have the t-shirt. Thanks to Jax's Bunny Barn, aka Jaxby the Ripper, for actually picking that up for me and sending it to me here in Canada, because Hot Topic wouldn't let me buy it myself because I guess Canada and US have different rights to shirts. But yeah, even though we're not friends anymore, I still thank her for picking that up for me. Cheers, Jax. Hope you're doing well. Next is a band that I know is good, but I don't really like this album. There's maybe a song, maybe 2 on here that I enjoyed, and that is Alkaline Trio with their album Good Morning. Like, not day, but like going to a funeral type of morning. How clever of them. So, there we go. There's the back with some crosses and some coffins. The song titles. Alkaline Trio, I think their first 3 albums were probably something more that I would enjoy, at least according to a lot of the Reddit users and how they talk about like what's good Alkaline Trio and what's bad Alkaline Trio and what's this and that, and the people who say what's what about this band. Mostly what I hear is the first 3 albums are great. This is where it starts turning bad and gets worse. Let me know what you think of Alkaline Trio if you've made it this far, please. I'm not like a huge, in-depth, knowledgeable person when it comes to Alkaline Trio. I can tell you that they're a pop-punk emo band from Illinois, USA. I can tell you that they've got 9 other albums and 4 EPs. I can tell you that they started in 1996. I can tell you that this album came out in 2003. But that's about it. I can tell you the facts. I don't really know too much about their discography or what their sounds like or what's good Alkaline Trio, what's bad Alkaline Trio, why that is. I feel because it's more fluffy and kind of dark and more like something the Crow would listen to, maybe with more angrier guitars. But yeah, it's got that kind of sorrowful, angsty teenager without the angry punk stuff to it. That is what Alkaline Trio is. I always like to see the backs of these CDs. I like to see the inside of these CDs. So if you're a collector that kind of just goes, whoop, there you go, and then that's it, not good enough. We need to do better as collectors and content creators on YouTube. But yeah, overall, I can't say too much about this. I put it on twice. The wife liked it probably more than I did, but I'm going to have to check into their earlier stuff. Let me know what I should be listening to by Alkaline Trio, please and thank you. All right, thank you for sticking around this long. If you have, most people jump out of a video for whatever reason around 60 seconds to 2 to 3 minutes in. They're like, yep, enough of this fucking idiot. Deuces. I don't know why. Maybe I'm talking about stuff they don't care about. Maybe my video came on after a video that they watched previously and they just forgot to turn it off. So maybe I got like a pity watch or an accidental watch and they turned it off 60 seconds in. Who knows? But yeah, if you stuck around this long, give yourself a pat on the back. You're the real MVP. Thank you so much. The last one we have on here is the most popular, most basic pop punk you can get. This is Green Day, and this is their last of the trilogy of weird notated albums. This one's Trey from the Uno Dos Trey trilogy. I still need to get Dos, so the Mike Dirnt one. Apparently there's a Quattro as well, which is I guess a documentary or a live thing with a 4th member that appears in their live band. Because there's Green Day, the main band, the 3 dudes, and then there's like 4 other members that they have with them when they're doing live shit. So one of those guys did a thing called Quattro, and I don't know. I didn't look into it too much. I'll open this up instead of babbling, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a Deja Vu discs receipt. So here we go. Uno, Dos, and Tres. And then as you can see in the purple, there's a Quattro, which apparently isn't a proper Spanish, and they should have named it something different, but whatever. I like it, and that guy did something for them. So anyways, Green Day, Trey. This one's an alright album, I guess, if you like this era of Green Day. I heard somewhere that all of the Uno, Dos, and Trey albums, or maybe just the Dos and Trey albums, were actually supposed to be Foxborough Hot Tubs, and they used to go by that name to do secret shows so they could play to a specific audience and not have tens of thousands of people trying to buy tickets to see them as Green Day. So they used to go by Foxborough Hot Tubs for some reason, play Green Day songs, but they also made a couple of specific Foxborough Hot Tub songs. And I think Dos and Trey were supposed to be that before they just decided to make them Green Day stuff, probably to check a few boxes on their label. Who knows why those got turned into Green Day albums, but yeah. So technically, if you're looking for 2 more Foxborough Hot Tubs albums, Dos and Trey. Pretty sure Dos and Trey. Because Uno was definitely more Green Day than it was Foxborough Hot Tubs, which might explain why Dos and Trey might not be as good as Uno, in your opinion, possibly. I don't know how I feel about it. There's some good songs. What I would probably do if I have Uno, Dos, and Trey, and I like that era of Green Day, would probably make a compilation best of trimmed down version of all three. Like, best tracks from Dos, Uno, and Tre. Don't know why I put them in that order. And then have like one solid album, because there is a lot of B and C side material on here that just isn't entertaining, isn't very good punk, isn't very good pop punk. It's just kind of boring shit. So yeah, there's a lot of filler in Uno, Dos, and Tre that could easily be cut out. But I'm a big Green Day fanatic, because if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would be so much into punk back in the day. It's hard to say, because my first band sort of was like a mix between Green Day and with Black Sabbath riffs. So I have a lot to thank for Green Day in my childhood, and I'm probably always going to collect Green Day albums, whether they're good, bad, or whatever. I'm just going to be like, oh, new Green Day album, gotta buy that, because collector scum. And if you watch this far, that's why you're here. We're all collector scum. We want everything by the artists we enjoy, unless it's absolute dog shit or the band takes a complete 180 from their original sound. Then we're probably like, pass. So, yep, that's the last thing on this collection update. My apologies that it's not black metal or slam. It hasn't been for a while. It probably won't be for a while either. I'm probably not going to get any slam or some crazy death metal in the future. So if that's what you're here for, sorry to tell you. You can check out my past playlists and check out all the slam and stuff there, or you can check out all the black metal playlists that I have here as well. There's 30 to 60 of them, depending on which playlist you pick. So lots of stuff to check out, but I can't promise you that I'm going to be picking up any black metal or slam in the future. More than likely just going to be punk, more than likely just going to be thrash, and probably some new metal, because I've been feeling nostalgic the last few years. I mean, hence the shirt. We got some more punk in the future, we got some metal in the future-ish, and definitely some more horror movies to watch or void updates. That's it. Cheers. For glory, for the rebellion, Slammerella out.